people! How are you today? Today I'm going to show you how to make this bracelet, and this is not very hard to make. It is made with the new roundtrio beads, and this is made with the faceted roundtrio beads and with the normal roundtrio beads. Roundtrio beads are 6mm beads with 3 holes, and you can get these beads from the Potomac Bead Company. They're their new kind of beads. I really like them, and if you have already the round duos, it is the same kind of bead, but then with 3 holes, and it is 6mm instead of 5mm. So the round duo beads are the 5mm, but we're going to use the round trio beads today. So let's start. You will need some thread, and I'm using a fireline today in 0.10mm, but you can also use wildfire. It is just what you prefer, and this can be up to 0.20mm. You will need a size 10 needle. You will need 2 clasps, because we're going to close it at the end with 2 clasps. But if you don't want to use clasps, you can also use the buttons. So this is a button in Crystal Labrador. You have this in a variety of colors. You can also get a matching color or a contrasting color. It's just what you like. There is a lot of silver also in this magic orchid color. So I choose to, if I want to use a button, I would use Crystal Labrador for this one. You will need some round trio beads, and I have them in normal round trio beads, and I have them in faceted round trio beads. Round trio bead is a bead with 3 holes, and it is 6mm. And you have enough of 1 pack of each, so you will use 1 pack of the round trio beads and 1 pack of the faceted round trio beads. And this is enough to make a 7-inch bracelet or a little bit larger. So if you have an 8-inch wrist, you have enough beads left to make a larger bracelet. You will need some 11/0 seed beads, and I'm also using these in Crystal Magic Orchid. So this is a very nice color. It is like a little bit of a metallic green with a bit of silver and a bit of fuchsia. And you will need some rondelles, and these are 3x4mm rondelles, and you have enough of 1 tube, and then you will have about half a tube left if you make the whole bracelet. So this won't go empty just making this bracelet. So let's start. Threading our needle, and I'm just using 1 arm span, and I can make about 3 components out of 1 arm span. We're going to start with the normal roundel beads, because I can easily show you on these what we're going to do, because the colors don't blend in together, because this is opaque and this is more see-through. We're going to start with 4 of these, and we're going to pick up 1 seed bead, and then we're going to pick up 1 round trio, and we're going to do that in the last hole here. So you have 3 holes, and we're going to take 1 of the outer holes, and then we're going to pick up 1 seed bead again and 1 round trio, and we're going to do that until we have them all on. So 1 seed bead and 1 round trio on the outer hole, like this. So now I have 4 seed beads on, and I have 4 round trio beads on. I'm going to slide them down. I'm going to fold my thread over, so I'm going to fold the thread that I have on my needle over my tail. And then I'm going to reinforce all the beads. So I'm going through all the beads, starting from the one that is from the tail. So the first one that we added. And we're going through all the beads until we come out of the point where we started this. So we're going round. Like this. And now the threads meet where we started this. What we're going to do, we're going to tie 1 knot And then we're going to pull this tight. And then we're going to do that one more time again, but this time we're going to make a surgeon's knot. So we're going over our thread and we're going to do that 2 more times. Like this. And then we're going to pull. Give it a gentle tug. And now we're going through, step up through the beads. So we're going through the next seed bead and the next bottom hole. So the outer hole of the round trio. Almost wanted to say round duo. And then through the next seed bead. And pull. And then we're going through the middle hole of the next round trio bead. And pull. Now we're going to pick up one crystal. And we're going through the next middle hole of the next round trio bead and pull. And then we're going to do that 3 more times again. So we're going to pick up one crystal and we're going through the next middle hole. Like this. And then we're going to step up through this next crystal. Because when we add the seed bead on this side, it can be get a little bit crooked, so it doesn't stand completely straight. Now we went through the crystal and we're going to pick up one seed bead. And we go through the next top hole of the next round trio. So the top hole, that's the last hole that we didn't went through yet. And we're going to do that all around because we're going to place one seed bead on each side of the crystal. So we're going to pick up one seed bead now and we're going through the crystal and pull. And then we're going to pick up one seed bead again and we're going through the next top hole of the next round trio bead. Like this. And we're going to do that all around. And as this does not take a lot of time, I'm just going to show you. So it will look like this. Just need to add the last seed bead. And when we're going to add the last seed bead, we're going through the crystal and we're going to step up through the next seed bead and pull. Now we're going to pick up 5 seed beads and we're going through the next seed bead, the next crystal and the next seed bead and pull. Oh. Like this, and we're going to do that 3 more times. So I'm going to pick up 5 seed beads and we're going through the next seed bead, the next crystal and the next seed bead. And then again we're going to pick up 5 seed beads and we're going through the next seed bead, the next crystal and the next seed bead. And we're going to do that 1 more time again. So the last time. And what we're then going to do when we added that last row, and you can just, if you can go through more beads, you can just do that. Because we're going to reinforce the outer side of these beads. So what we're going to do, we're going all around again through all the beads that we just added. So just go through the beads, and the reason we're doing this is that we're going to reinforce this outer edge, because we're going to connect the components together with this outer edge, and we need to make this as strong as possible because you don't want a single thread to break. And I think that if you go through it a couple of times, so 2 times in this case, you have less chance of thread breaking. Now let's see, I need to go through it one more time. And normally what I do is if I lost count, because that can happen, I just see in between the beads if I already went through it one more time again. And in this case I did. What we're then going to do, we're going to come out of the middle seed bead. So we just added 5 seed beads, and then we're coming out of the 3rd seed bead that is in the middle there, and pull. And now we're going to make a loop. Now you can make a loop here to fit your button. So you have to measure how large your button is, and then you can see if it fits through, and in that case you can add a button. But I'm going to show you today how I make it with this clasp, so just for a clasp, and we're going to pick up 16 seed beads for this. And slide them down. Now we're going through the opposite direction of the bead that we're coming out of. So we're coming out of this middle bead, and my thread is going in this direction. So I'm going through that same seed bead in the opposite direction. And pull. And it will look like this. And now we're going to reinforce this loop, because this is the loop that we will attach the clasp on later. So the clasp will hook on this loop. So we need to make this as strong as possible. So we're going through all these seed beads again, and we're going to do that for 2 more times, so that we went 3 times through all these seed beads. And in this way you can make sure that your beadwork doesn't come apart. I really like working with these faceted beads and with these roundtrio beads. They are like the perfect size, because I like to work with the 6mm. I used to prefer 8mm, but I now really like the 6mm beads, and they just make the perfect size for a lot of things. What I also really liked about these beads is that when you string through them, they are just very easy for designing, because you can go several ways with them. And what you normally have with a bead that has only one hole in them is that if you make beads around them, the beads will the beads won't lay flat against the bead. And what I like about this is if you do it in this way, so with this 6mm beads, you are going to make sure that the beads lay against the bead very flat. So I really like these beads. I'm going to use them more often, because I prefer them over normal 6mm beads for these kinds of projects. Okay, what we're going to do then, I went through the loop 3 more times, and I'm coming out of this middle seed bead. What we're going to do, we're going through the next 2 or 3 seed beads, and so the next 3 seed beads of this that are on the side. Then I'm going through the crystal, and then I'm going through the next seed bead. It isn't exact science, so if you go through 2 seed beads here at the other end of the crystal, that's okay also. It doesn't really matter that much. You're not going to notice it afterwards where you put the knot loop, because we're going to make a knot loop, and we're going to do that. We're going to stick the needle underneath the thread that we're coming out of. So we're coming out of this seed bead, and we're going to stick our needle in between and under the thread in between those 2 seed beads, and pull. Then we're going to slowly pull, and then we're creating a loop here, and we're going through that with our needle, and we're going to give that a gentle tug. And I'm going to do that 2 more times to make it extra secure, like this, and pull. And then we're going through the next 3 seed beads or so. It isn't exact science, it is just what you feel like doing. And then I'm going to take my cutter, or you can use a thread cutter. I also have this Beadsmith cutter. You can also get these at the Potomac Bead Company. I really like to work with these because they are very sharp. And then you're just going to cut your thread. So you're going to pull it tight. Then you're going to get your snipper. And you're going to pull the thread, and then you can just, sliding off the bead there, just cut your thread. And with the ends, I always found it a little bit more harder, because you can't really get a grip on your tail. So that's why you shouldn't use a really small tail. I'm going to use my pliers for this because I can't get a grip of my thread. Sorry for that. And then your component will look like this. Now you're going to make the second component. So we're going to use the same technique as we did with the first component, but we're going to use the faceted crystal beads. It is just the same with these faceted crystal beads. So when you're making this component, it is just the same. The only difference is that you're not going to make the loop, but you are going to end in the middle seed bead here, because we're going to attach it to the middle seed beads here on the other side. So you're going to make this component, but with the faceted crystal beads. You're also just going to use a rondelle in the middle, so just the same. And you're going to stop where you would normally make the loop on this side. So I'm going to make that component now, and then I'm coming back to you. Component. And now I'm going to attach it to the first component we made. So we're going to pick up one seed bead. So we're coming out of this middle seed bead. We're going to pick up one seed bead, and we're going through the middle seed bead that is on the opposite side of the loop. Like this, and pull. And then I'm going to pick up my work, because I found it to be working easily. This works easy for me. And then we're going through the opposite side of the seed bead that we're coming out of. So like this. And pull. And now we're going to reinforce this, so I'm going through this 2 more times. Everything we're going to reinforce today. When it comes to the connections, we're going to reinforce it 2 more times, because we really want to make this strong, because we don't want our connection to hang loose, or to that it comes apart. If you use a little bit of thicker thread, you might make it with just going through it 2 times, but always test that and see if it is strong. And if you can go through it, I always advise you to go through it 2 more times instead of 1 more time, like this. And now we connected these, and we're going to do the same as we did before. We're going through the seed beads and through the crystals. And we're going to come out of the other side of the crystal through one of the seed beads. And now you're just going to do what we did before. You're going to make a knot loop here. You're going through the beads, and then you're going to tie off and, cut off your thread and cut off the other thread too. Now you're going to do this, this connection, so you're going to start with one of the normal round trio beads here again, and then you're going to do one with the faceted round trio beads again, and you're going to alternate them until you have 4 of these and 4 of these. So you're going to make a total of 8, and when you did that, I'm going to show you on the other side how you can attach the clasp. Made all the components, and now I'm going to reach the opposite side of the last component. As you can see, I made them all, and now what I'm going to do the same as I did with the first one. When I connected them, I'm going through these seed beads here, but now I'm just not going to cut my thread, but I'm going to make the other connection on the other side. So I'm going through the seed beads, and I'm going to reach the seed bead that is on the opposite side of our connection. So that's the middle seed bead there. like this. And now I'm going to pick up one of my clasps. I'm going to pick up 4 seed beads, and then I'm going through the clasp. I'm going to do that in the way that it will connect in the right way. So we're going to make sure that the clasp is with the opening side down. So as you can see, the part when you open it is up, and the part with what opens is down. And then I'm going through the hole of the clasp. I'm going to pick up 4 more seed beads, and then I'm going through the opposite side of the seed bead that we are coming out of. And it will look like this. And now we're going to reinforce this 2 more times, so just like we would do before. We're just going to reinforce the beads, and we're going through the clasp again, because we don't want this to come apart, or that it is the weak point in your bracelet. So that's one, and then the second time. Like this. And now we're just going to tie off like we did before. So we're just going through the seed beads, and then through the crystal, and through some seed beads, and we're going to make a knot loop here. And then we're going through some seed beads. And then we're going to cut our thread. You can either use a plier, like I do, and that's especially handy dandy if you have like a piece of shorter thread. And then you're just going to cut it. So it looks like this. Now what we're going to do, because this is a double row bracelet, of course if you like it just like this, you can also make it like this, and then you can get, I think about, I'm not sure about it, but I think then you get 3 bracelets out of the 2 packages. And of course you can also make it in just faceted crystals. It's just what you like. But we're going to make this a double bracelet. So what you're going to do, you're going to make another component. And just for the sake of this video, I already made this double component, as you can see. But we're going to make it with the crystal, because we're going to alternate the colors. So I made this crystal faceted roundtrio component already. And I'm going to thread the needle now, because I just need to do that. So you're just going to make one of those components again, and this time with the loop, because this is the beginning part of the bracelet. And what we're going to do now, we're going to connect them in the middle here. So we're going to connect these middle seed beads. So what I'm going to do, I'm going through all the seed beads after that I reinforce the loop, and I'm going to reach that middle seed bead there. So I'm going to do that now. Like this. Almost lost my thread. Oh. I have just a tiny bit of piece there. And then we're going to do the same. So we're going to pick up 1 seed bead. And we're going through the opposite seed bead here. So the 5th of the 5th row, the middle seed bead. Or sorry, the row of 5, the middle seed bead. And pull. Now we're going to pick up 1 seed bead, and we're going through the opposite side of that other seed bead. So it is just the same as you would do with the first row, only then we're going to connect the top part also. And pull. And it is just like this. So this is the connection. Now we're going to reinforce this 2 times also, because we're going to reinforce all of our connections 2 times. And as I said, if you use about 1 arm span, you can get about 3 components out of that. But as you can see, for here I have just a little bit of thread left, but it is enough to make the connection and to tie the beadwork off. So that is what we're going to do, because I now went through it 2 more times. And I'm just going to go through the seed beads and through the crystal. So just like we did before, exactly the same. Like this, and I believe I have my tail in it too. Yes, I don't want that. Okay, and then I'm just going to make a knot loop here. So just like we did before, we're going to tie it off with a double knot loop. And then I'm going to stick it through some seed beads. And then I'm just going to cut it off. Now, as you can see, this is the first component. So I'm going to cut my thread here from the components. And it will look like this. Now what you're going to do, you're going to make another component, and I already did this. So as you can see, I made another component, and I'm going to show you how we can connect this. And this is just the same. But we also need to connect it on the top. And maybe by now you can already guess how to make this. But we're going to connect it like this. So I'm coming out of the middle seed bead here and I'm going to connect it to my first piece. And I'm going to do that again with the middle seed bead. So the middle seed bead of the opposite seed bead, that is from the loop. And I'm going to reinforce this like we did before 2 more times. And I really like this crystal. This is like one of my favorite colors. So the Crystal Magic Orchid. The reason this is one of my favorite colors is that the fuchsia and the green is such a very nice combination. It's just I think it's a wonderful combination. Very vibrant, but still very almost flowery. I think it's like it's a good. It reminds me of like real orchids. It's like really, as they say, the color of fuchsia orchid. Okay, now I've reinforced it, and what we're going to do now, we're going to connect these two. So as you can see, we're going to step up through all the seed beads, and then I'm going to reach this middle seed bead here so that we can connect these 2 components. So I'm just going through the seed beads, and I'm going to grab my work as I found it to be the most easy for me to work with. And it's not going to break because we reinforce the rows with going through it 2 more times. So we can gently tug on it a little bit if we need to. And then just the same, we're going to pick up 1 seed bead and we're going through the middle seed bead on the opposite direction. So it's just the same. We are just going to go through the middle seed bead like this. And then again we're going to reinforce it. So this is not very hard. This is not hard to make bracelet. It actually doesn't cost that much time to make the components. That's why I also showed you in the beginning of this video how long it about takes to make 1 component. And I think that if you are a medium beader, I think you can make this bracelet in about 2 hours from start to finish. But as the components are not very hard to make, I think beginners that have like a little bit of experience can also make this, because the component is very easy to make and it is very easy to remember with the round trio beads, where you need to go through which bead or which hole, because it is just step 1 is the hole 1, step 2 is hole 2, and I think that is very convenient and very easy. So I really like that about this new bead. Okay, and it will look like this. And again we're going to cut our thread, because I also made a knot loop and such. And I went through the beads because I made a knot loop in the beginning here, because that's also a possibility. Now I'm just going to cut my thread. And that is all there is to it, because now the only thing that you need to do is you're going to make all the other components like we did before. So we're going to make a crystal one here and a normal round trio here, and then you're going to do that all the way. And then you're going to attach your clasp just like you did before, because we're going to close this bracelet up with 2 of the clasps. If you're going to use the button, what I advise you to do is, if you want to close it with a button, you're going through the bottom from the bottom, and then you're going to pick up 2 seed beads or 3 seed beads, just what you like, because 2 seed beads is a little bit more straight, but if you use 3 it will be a little bit more round. And then you're going to reinforce that, and then you can go through the first 2 seed beads of the row underneath that, and then you can just do the same here. So you're going to pick up 2 or 3 seed beads, and then you're going to reinforce that again, so that you have a button as a clasp. So it's just what you like, but I used these clasps for these because I found that to be a little bit more convenient, because if you want to lengthen this, that is the same, that is not the same for the button, because if you use the button you have to make it a certain size. So if you want it 7 inch you can make it 7 inch, but if you use a clasp you can also make the loop a little bit longer, or you can just add another component, of course, and that's something you can do with the buttons also. But you can make the loop a little bit larger, like if you have a 7.5 inch wrist, you can also just make the loop a little bit longer so that it fits you, and then you can just attach it in that way. So I'm going to make the other components now so that I can show you the finished bracelet, and that is all there is to it. So you're just going to make the other components, and then you're going to attach the clasp, and that's it. And as you can see, I have 4 of the green ones and 4 of the crystal ones, so a total of 8 green ones and 8 crystal ones. So I really hope you liked this tutorial. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked this tutorial. Subscribe to my channel, follow me on Facebook, and I will see you the next time. Bye, have a nice day.